coming up next on Her Business Playbook.
So Takesha, I think when you play this tape and compare it to tapes that were played 20 years ago, we're still talking about the same issues that we haven't been able to resolve.
Her Business Playbook is presented in partnership with the Columbus Chamber of Commerce. Hi team, today we are live from the leadership desk with a special conversation all about reputation, results, and next level leadership for women. Because Women for Economic and Leadership Development, or Weld, isn't just building leaders. Its mission is very clear: to develop and advance women's leadership to strengthen the economic prosperity of the communities it serves. Joining me today are Barb Smoot, Weld's President and CEO, and Deepa Keller, the Chief Operating Officer. And we are breaking down how Weld builds incredible women leaders, and also while doing something that is critical, and that is positioning their personal brands as exemplary and more confident leaders. So consider this your brand leadership film room. The mindset, the moves, and the winning plays that help your name to carry more weight before you even speak. We're going to learn about Weld's brand story, the steps that it has taken to expand its geographical footprint, details about a really important upcoming fundraiser, and Weld's plans for shaping the future of women's leadership. Barb, Deepa, welcome to the Playbook.
Thank you, Takesha.
So I like starting off our conversations asking about a brand that made a big impression on you as a girl or young woman. Deepa?
So I had two when I was growing up, and this is major dating myself. The first was Calgon. I don't know if anyone remembers, it's like the bubble bath piece or the bath. Calgon, take me away. And I remember as a kid thinking, why do moms need to just go hide in their bathroom and be taking away to these cool things? Now, as a mom of 4 kids, as a full-time and, working full-time, I'm like, oh yes, if I could only have something that throws in my bathtub that takes me to this lovely place. So that was one of them. And then the other was Jordache jeans. I don't know if anyone remembers Jordache jeans, but they were the, Lululemon of this generation maybe, but if you had them, you were the cool kid or you had it together. And, it's just, I got my pair of Jordache from my parents, and I'm like, oh, these are cool, and now it's like, just what do we need to be seen? Just what makes you feel good.
And that was the brand with the horse.
The horse.
Yes. Right? On the pocket.
Yep.
Yeah.
You knew if somebody had them with that little horse.
The Jordaches.
Yes.
Absolutely. How about you, Barb?
So for me, I was always fascinated with corporate America, large corporations. So this may seem kind of nerdy, but IBM, AT&T, and also MIT, because I was a science geek as well. I didn't like to play with dolls. I loved Tonka trucks. And then from another standpoint, Motown. And I still love Motown today. I still will dance and run and groove to Motown.
I hear you. Gotta have good music.
Always.
Always. So let's help folks to learn more about your personal brands and your role with Weld. If you could use or come up with a word that you think your friends, family, associates, business partners, community partners, the one word that they would use to describe you, what would it be?
The get it done person.
Get it done.
Get it. It was 3 words, I think, but we can put hyphens and make it one. But the get it done.
Really important as a COO. How about you, Barb?
Fearless.
Ooh.
I will take on a challenge. I'm not afraid to be the underdog. I'm not afraid to be outnumbered. Fearless.
That's the word I would use to describe you, no doubt. So let's talk about your individual roles with Weld as 2 of the most critical leaders of the organization. Can you talk about specifically how your role helps Weld to grow its brand reputation in the communities where you have operations?
Yep. So as a COO, I deal with operations. I deal with our infrastructure and the details. So what you see at the end of the day for a Weld program, it's all those things behind the scenes, being able to get those done so it looks seamless. So to help our brand people, they come to an event, they feel welcome, they see it put together, and they're like, this is where we want to be. So being able to do that and working with our volunteers. Our volunteers are why we can do what we can do, and being able to support them with what they need so that they can, for themselves, but also to support the Weld brand and the Weld programs that we have.
As CEO, I'm responsible for putting together that big vision and mission that may seem impossible, but to show people the 10,000 steps that you need to do every day to achieve those goals. I'm responsible for making women feel seen and heard and being a source of inspiration collectively, bringing all the team together to help people see the possibilities in themselves that they may have never envisioned.
Oh, great way. I love the 10,000 steps, right? That rings a bell for everybody, things that you should be doing.
Yes.
Right.
Can you talk about what surprised you most about leading Weld at this moment in time of its history?
So we're in 2026 now, right? And what's amazing to me is how much work we still need to do, how much women still need to be seen, not because they want the glory or the status or any of those pieces, but somewhere safe that they can do what they need to do for themselves to support themselves, their families, their communities. And, just we want to be somewhere people can get away and work on themselves so they can focus on that as well. It's
Love that.
amazing what we need.
Love that. Barb, what about you?
So, Takesha, I think when you play this tape and compare it to tapes that were played 20 years ago, we're still talking about the same issues that we haven't been able to resolve. You look at affordable childcare, you look at pay equity, you look at women in the C-suite, in the boardroom, the same issues are being discussed. And what surprises me is that we now have these cars that are self-driving. We can put movie stars up in space. We can do all these things, but for whatever reason, we haven't been able to get this done. My ultimate goal has been that we no longer need a Weld, that we get to that point where we no longer need a Weld and we can stop talking about this.
I hear you. So you guys have big jobs. This is passion work, no doubt. But let's take it back to the morning when you get up.
Oh my God.
How about your morning routine? How do you get it all together? Because there's a lot of details that you have to juggle, a lot of big vision that you have to make sure is being carried out. But how do you get the day started?
My day starts the night before, almost, sometimes a week before. I'll try to go through what was my checklist, what do I need to do, what do I want to get done the next day, what needs to get done the next day. For me, my journey has been different. I was a stay-at-home mom for almost 15 years, and then came back into the workplace, and my days looked different. I was raising 4 kids, but then when I started working for Weld over the past 9 years, it has shifted from being part-time to full-time to now in the C-suite and being, a leader of the organization. It's changed a lot. So now it's like being able to find who, what, where, when gets my time and what amounts of it. Being able to say no and say no because I want to do something for me as well as all of the other responsibilities that are out there.
How about you, Barb?
So since I'm a night owl, morning is actually a continuous thing for me, so I'll just point that out. For me, it begins with taking care of myself first. If I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of other people. I exercise 6 days a week, cardio, weightlifting. I eat a very healthy meal, a protein shake for breakfast. I know before the day starts what the definition of success looks like at the end of it. And part of that success is making sure that whatever success I achieve, I brought somebody along with me.
Oh, I hear you. Now, how about rounding out the day? How do you typically unwind?
Am I allowed to say I have a glass of wine and reading a book? It's just that one, even a little bit, even if I don't finish the whole glass, it's just that wine in my head to just settle down, watch something mindless on TV for me, almost fiction of some sort that you can kind of see real, but it's not real, and I can't associate it to my real life, just being able to shut down.
Oh, I hear you. How about you, Barb, Miss Night Owl?
The saltiest bag of potato chips I can find. In all seriousness, I'm a salt eater, and there's something about that refuels me.
Hey, you're working out, so you're burning out the calories, so that works great. Are you a chip person? A chip and dip?
Oh, no, potato chips. Just plain potato chips. I don't want to mess it up with this extra stuff
I
that
like
you
the
put
dip.
on it.
I hear you. Barb and Deepa, we have what we call our free throw rapid fire questions to help folks get to know you a little better. You've not seen these questions in advance, but just give a response that reflects the first thing that comes to your mind.
Uh-oh.
You walk into a room where no one knows you. What's your first move?
I go to near the registration desk and I act like I'm the host. I learned this from a friend, Barb Gerson, and I greet everyone. I look at the name badges and I just pretend like this is my event.
I think I might have to use that as my first step. I will typically try to find somebody that has a smile, that looks kind, and try to strike up a conversation and get to know somebody new.
Great tip. You are underestimated. Imagine that. What is your response?
Fool around and find out.
I was like, I'll show you.
Great responses. You're asked to tell us about yourself. What do you typically lead with?
That I exercise, that I love to cook and watch TV at the same time, and that I love to travel around the world.
That I am not a coffee drinker. Diet Coke is people look at me and they know I'm all about my Diet Coke. I have my 4 kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's an interesting question.
Diet Coke
Something to
for
think about.
kids?
Diet Coke for kids, there you go.
You're offered a seat at the table, but not a voice in this particular room. What do you do?
Excuse me, Barb Smoot here. I have something to share. Thank you for the opportunity to get time on the agenda today.
Excuse me, can I interject, please?
Great. They will hear you then.
Sure will.
Early morning meetings, love them or leave them?
Don't do that to me.
No. Love them because then it's done. But don't do that to me and make me get ready that early.
No 7 a.m.?
I prefer
Don't do
no,
that to me.
please no.
Your coffee or tea order, simple or a little complicated?
Well, like I said before, I do Diet Coke, but if I do go to a coffee, it is the most complicated thing because I don't want to taste the coffee.
How about you, Barb?
Cream and stevia, and I'm good.
All right, more on the simple side.
Yes.
Do you use a notes app, a paper notebook, or some tech gadget to capture your to-do list?
Paper. My notebook is paper.
Little old school.
Little old school.
Last question.
Okay.
What is your game, time, hype song? What do you get down to? What gets you pumped? What is on your playlist?
I'll do Kelly Clarkson a lot of times with like Stronger, Confident, and just really playing that, like hearing the words before I walk into something that has me a little nervous.
I'm Every Woman, and also Ain't No Stopping Us Now.
Ooh, perfect theme songs. Thank you, ladies. Now back to our conversation. We're going to jump into Weld's brand story, starting with its purpose, some historical milestones, especially Barb, given your longevity with the organization. Perhaps you can kick things off to help folks better understand what Weld is all about. And Deepa, please jump in as it relates to some of the operational things that helps to oversee the geographical reach of the organization that has expanded over time.
So Weld was founded back in 2003 here, and a group of women looked around the leadership landscape in Columbus, Ohio, and they noticed the absence of women at the table. And when there were women there, it was the same 3 or 4 women as if Columbus only had 3 or 4 capable, talented women to be in that room. So they decided to form this organization to focus on the issues that impact women's ability to be in the leadership, at the leadership table. And they created this calendar that was called Women You Should Know at the time, and it's now Women Welding the Way, to showcase the amazing talent that we have here that is ready today to be in the corporate boardroom. They're ready today to be CEO or in the C-suite. And so that's what our roots are today. And so Deepa, if you wanted to share a little bit about our mission and brand, and we'll talk about how we got to be a national organization.
Yeah, and you shared our mission, to develop and advance women's leadership. We want to support the communities that we're in, even those that we're not in, and we do that through our programs, our events, and we want to meet women where they are. That is a big piece of Weld and our brand. It's not for one level of leadership. It's not for one type of industry. We're here to support your next, and we know everyone's next is different. We know it can evolve, it can change, and being able to understand, excuse me, that everyone's next is different. We do that through all of our programs. And from our geographic reach, as you asked, is, we have members who have left the Columbus area and moved to different regions where there is not a Weld. And Weld made such an imprint on them, they'll reach out to Barb and I and say, how do we bring Weld here? How do we bring Weld here? And it's these amazing individuals who help us tell our story in other regions, and so that we can continue to support that pipeline across the country in all the regions that we have.
So tell us about that special moment back in the day.
Okay.
When you knew that this was something that you wanted to actually lead. Do you remember that moment?
I remember mine. So I was an executive at an insurance company, and it was towards the end of my career. I had an executive coach, her name was Betty, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do next. I knew I didn't want to keep doing what I was doing, and she said to me, and this is when Weld was just all volunteers, this is back in 2006, 2007. She said, Barb, you seem to like doing all these things around leadership development and supporting women. Why don't you go work for Weld? And Miss Marty Britches me, who knows everything and can see the world at the end, I said, how can I do that? Weld doesn't even have any employees. They're all volunteers. There's no way I could ever work for Weld. No vision. I had eyesight, but no vision, right? And fast forward, I ended up becoming the first employee of Weld, and I'll never forget the first event. I called her on the phone, and I said, Betty, guess where I work? And I told her where, and all you could hear was screeching laughter on the phone, and she was able to articulate, I was right. And so I remember that moment I was doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny how sometimes that happens and someone sees the vision before you do.
Yeah. It takes sometimes others pointing out what they see in you that you can't seem to see.
How about you? Do you remember that special moment?
So for mine, it's a little different. It's like a collection of moments, and I think it led to one moment. So I was, as I said, a stay-at-home mom for so many years. Previous to being home with my kids, I worked in the corporate sector. I was in a bank, and it just never felt right because I didn't know where I would go from there. So then I had kids, and I stayed home for that many years. And a good friend of mine who was actually on the Weld board at the time was like, well, we have this opportunity, this organization I'm a part of. I'm like, absolutely, let's try it. And fast forward 9 years. Well, we'll fast forward 5 years. COVID happens. And I think, weirdly to say, COVID was the point, because I could see what I was doing was helping make a difference. We were able to get our content out. Seeing all the volunteers and the speakers and all the people we were able to support was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. And it didn't hurt to have a leader like Barb behind me showing me, like, you can do this. I'm like, no, I can't. And I did it without even knowing I was doing it. And so it's a testament to Barb's leadership and just helping bring out what you don't know.
Thank you, Deepa.
Very important theme there. Can you talk about what has changed the game for women's leadership development as it relates to what Weld is doing? How are you changing the game?
Listening, a lot of listening. Our stakeholders, whether they're corporate members, volunteers, the community, we're hearing there's different things now than there were 20 years ago. Some of the same themes are there, as Barb shared earlier. We still have a lot of work to do. But seeing what needs to happen, what do we need to do to support? AI is a big piece. The different things with housing. How do we support women with burnout and individuals with burnout? It's not just women that are burned out, but how are we supporting others and just trying to refocus and repurpose what we're doing and meeting those needs.
Takesha, that call to action, there's a sense of urgency here. We love data. And one of the statistics from last year is that over 300,000 Black women left the workforce, right, last year. Catalyst did a study, and like 455,000 women left the workforce in the first 8 months of 2025. And about 40% of those left because of, I think it was daycare, job loss, and then the other 60% was because no childcare, no support for the myriad of issues that women have to face as the primary caregivers, whether it be children or adults. That concerns me. And so for us, the sense of urgency is making sure that that pipeline, the emerging professionals, we are investing in them, investing in programs that help these women get their first promotion into management, and making it clear that without these efforts, without the collective community efforts to keep women in the game, at the table, our economy is going to suffer. It is real now. It was always been real, but when you see the lost gains that we worked so hard for be erased, it gets your attention.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Can you talk about any special practices that Weld leans on when it's making strategic decisions about how you're going to grow, when you're thinking about the upcoming year, because you do have to stay a few steps ahead, if you will, right, on top of everything else that you're doing. But for those that may be running organizations that are similar, perhaps they're overseeing an ERG that works with Weld or may want to work with Weld, if you will. Are there any practices that you lean on that you can give them insight into to help make strategic growth decisions for the organization?
So for us, we're data driven. Before we decide to go into a community, we look to see what organizations are already there. If they already have something that's like a Weld, it makes no sense for us to try to go in and reinvent what they already have. So we do research on women's organizations, supporting them. And then in addition, we collaborate with key influencers in the community to bring Weld's, what we have to offer in the way of programs. It is a long process. We are not trying to grow buck wild quickly, but to be thoughtful in how we do it. Yeah. So it's all through collaboration. We're not trying to steal somebody's cheese or come in and take over a community. That's not productive, and we don't have the resources to do that sort of thing. So we have to be smart about how we do this.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about Weld's team. You two have very critical leadership roles, but it takes more than just you to make things happen. So if you could talk about the entire team, the infrastructure that it takes to bring to life your program and the mission.
So we have 2.5 FTE, and we have about 8 contractors that do work for us. The lion's share of our support and resources come from the 150 or so volunteers and the 150 or so speakers that come to help us put on our programs. The reason why people come to volunteer for Weld is because, number one, they get a chance to build priceless connections. They get a chance to engage with executives and movers and shakers and entrepreneurs, not just in their own community, but nationwide. In addition, they get a chance to pay forward their success. And then lastly, women have the thirst to lead, but inside their companies, they may not have the opportunity unless someone dubs you or you get promoted or whatever, you may not get a chance to lead. Come to Weld, and you can be a leader. We see the leader in you. And that strikes a nerve with people who come to Weld. They are seen in ways and they're challenged in ways that somehow in other roles in their lives, they don't have the opportunity to do so.
For anyone looking to step into a leadership role for a mission-driven or purpose-driven organization like Weld, what advice would you give them?
It's not for the faint-hearted, I guess, to say. I think I've heard Barb use that term before. It's one of those things that be ready to do some work. Make sure you align with that mission, because to be a part of a mission-led organization or mission-driven organization, to lead one, you have to believe in the mission. You have to know the mission and know how it's going to affect the community as a whole.
If you are competitive and like to be in the game, you always want to score. You're driven to score. But in this work, these 10,000 steps a day, sometimes the steps that you take you sideways, they take you backward and not forward. So you have to be prepared for the long game for roles like this.
Let's jump into our scoreboard questions. When you're in brand marketing, building the brand reputation of an organization, there are a number of things that you can do, but it can be hard or it takes a while to see the ROI from those investments. Can you talk about how Weld measures success of its brand marketing and communication efforts, both quantitatively and qualitatively?
So for us, from a quantitative standpoint, we look at number of new members, retention of members, program attendance, some of the obvious things, but the real information, the best information comes from the qualitative stories. The success stories and testimonials that people provide us, we reach out regularly to find out how they're doing in their careers. And also the emails that we get from individuals that say, hey, I got this promotion, and that's because I learned XYZ at a Weld event. The combination of both of those really tell us that we're doing a lot of things right.
Deepa, you want to add anything?
No, I think there's nothing that tells us that we're on the right track more than when somebody just comes up to you out of the blue, whether it's at an event, out on the wild, out somewhere else, or just through that email. It just shows that what we're doing, we're on the right track.
We have this segment that's fumbles and recoveries. And I want to ask you a question along those lines. Something that was a challenge, a misstep that ultimately strengthened Weld, but maybe initially you thought about it as like, that was the biggest mistake, but you recovered. Do you have an example?
I wouldn't say it was a mistake. I would say it was the world. When COVID came and shut down, we're predominantly in person. We had a web base, we had, virtual footprint, but we were predominantly in person. So it's like, now what do we do? Like the world shutting down, we can't be in person. And being able to see how we can continue to support with our webinars and increasing the webinars, increasing the types or adding on to the different types of discussions that we can have, things that are hitting us now. It was finding new skills, like in that, for me personally and for our members, that we saw that they were able to see that they could still develop themselves, still have somewhere to be and still grow, even though that happened. And that made Weld stronger because we were able to strengthen that virtual footprint and our in-person, all the different programs. It gave us access to so many more speakers. We learned about so many new individuals that we could support and support Weld as well.
I hear you. Barb, anything come to mind for you?
One of the things that Deepa had was we had John Rogers getting ready to come in and do our keynote right before COVID. We had chairs, we were double ducking chairs to get people in the room, and having to cancel that and pivot from that was hard. But everyone was going through things like that. And as bad as it was at the time, it could have been worse. And that's how we maintained our focus.
Let's talk about Weld's next play. Okay. What's on the horizon for Weld? What can folks look forward to?
A big thing is our keynote. We've got our keynote coming up April 16th. It'll be at the Hollywood Casino. We're super excited for a new venue. Our speaker, her story is amazing. It will be amazing. She went from as a single mom, as an executive assistant, to the president of FedEx, FedEx Custom Critical. She sits on corporate boards, and she's got a remarkable journey. Very excited about that, along with our leadership conference, our corporate board conference. We have our calendar reception, but coming up really soon is our keynote.
Yeah, what is the day and time, and how can folks get involved?
So April 16th is the keynote, and our corporate board conference is April 22nd and 23rd. And if you go to www.weldusa.org to our events section, we'll be glad to see you click and purchase a ticket.
Wow. And we're going to be promoting the event over the next couple of months. And so hopefully us all working together will make it, no doubt, an even better event. And it is hard to beat because the event is just excellent every year. And so it's great seeing you guys try things new, with it being at the casino and the keynote speaker. Can't wait to hear her remarks, the work that she's done at FedEx and just her leadership journey. Can't wait.
And Takesha, you are the queen of marketing, so having you on the team, there's no choice but success.
It's
with
on
you on
the
the team.
poppin'. Yes. All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for this great conversation. I hope that folks will, in fact, go online to learn more about Weld's mission, how to join, how to support. maybe even sign up to speak or be part of the corporate board leadership training initiatives that you have. I can't thank you enough for helping people to learn more about you personally and also about Weld's mission and how to get involved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and watching. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, Brainstorm Media, and Kylie Lovesy Design. Listen and watch wherever you get your podcasts and visit us online at herbusinessplaybook.com.